You want to make sure you file a fully developed claim. That means you want to provide all the medical evidence you have to support your VA disability claim. The burden of proof is on you. So you have to prove your disability. Just having a disability, having pain, dealing with it, that's a part of it, but you need to have a doctor and you need medical documentation and a medical record in order to prove it. So get to a doctor. Um, you want to make sure, whoops, wrong screen. You want to make sure that everything that you submit is complete. All your medical evidence, we'll talk about some of that. But everything you submit in your fully developed claim, double check it with your VSO. So you put eyes on it, VSO puts eyes on it, have the wife check it out, whatever. All signatures need to be in signature boxes. If it's a date box, a date needs to be in there. All the T's crossed, all the I's dotted. It seems very obvious, and I'm sure it is to you, but it happens. Little mistakes, you're going through, it's like, oh shit, I didn't cross that T, or I left that date out, or I didn't sign this, or something like that. So some stupid little hang thing can kick your claim into a 2-month delay or something like that. So double, triple, quadruple check everything before you submit it. This is your time to make sure that there's no errors up front. You don't want the VA correcting errors as they go along, because then you're in e-benefits looking at, oh, we need a request and we need clarification. You can skip all that stuff by just having everything accurate before you submit it. How long will it take for my application to go through the VA disability process? So this is kind of a loaded question. And, as I use words like averages and most people, it takes this long. You're an individual. You're different than me. Your claim is completely different than mine. So as these are guidelines, I can't really tell you what's going to happen to your claim because there's a lot of factors. So these are the factors that we want to talk about, right? So, how long is it going to take? So how many conditions did you file a claim for? This makes sense. If you file one claim with one disability, like tinnitus or something, it's going to go through the process. If you provide all the medical evidence you need, that's going to go faster than if you submit 15 different disabilities and then your medical evidence is lacking and the VA has to go hunt stuff down. It's just going to take longer. So how many conditions you file a claim for is going to affect how long the disability process is going to take. How complex are your medical conditions? My disabilities are complicated, but they're not a traumatic brain injury and, just get charts all over the place. There's a lot of stuff that's complicated. I'm not going to explain what's complicated and what not, but how complex your conditions are is a factor. How much evidence is needed to, make a decision on your claim? And then, where is the VA able to find the evidence? Did you provide it? Was it all there? Were they able to find everything they need to give you a favorable decision? That's a factor. And then finally, this is a kind of a wild card thing. You have your conditions. Okay, great. I'm only going to do 2. I'm going to not do complex ones. Do what you have to do. But let's just say you have some pretty relatively straightforward claims. You only do 2 of them. You do a fully developed claim. They have all the evidence. The wild card part is your VA regional office. So, if you're in Salt Lake City or Tampa, Florida, or whatever, Texas somewhere, the workload is different. There's a backlog. That's not news either. So it varies from rater to rater, regional office. So that's a wild card one. Control what you can and get your ducks lined up with that stuff. And that one you can't control. But to throw an average out there, according to the VA's website, as of January 2021, they're saying the average amount of days that it takes is 154 days right now. I remember going back probably a year ago, maybe a little longer than a year ago, and like the average was like 91 days. So it's definitely taking longer for sure. So just a heads up on that. So it's important to get your VA disability claim organized and thoroughly checked. You need to, make sure everything's dialed in. And I'm going to use my foot as an example to kind of explain what dialed in means to me, just, so you can kind of visualize it a little bit. So I filed a claim for my foot. So the first thing I did was I got a hold of my VA claims file, your C file. I went through it. I organized everything. I pulled out the relevant stuff that had to deal with my feet. So I was able to get my service treatment records because I don't have those anymore, but they're in my claims file. So I went through, I did searches, I walked through it page by page, and I was looking for things about my foot injury. When I broke it, I jumped on a nail or something like that. So things that are relevant to my foot. So what I ended up doing there was after I spent a long time on the claims file, but I found 3 good pages that had diagnosis, had symptoms, this is when I got the cast, good solid medical evidence out of my service treatment records. I didn't print off my whole claims file. I just printed off what was relevant. So 3 pages is what I got out of my claims file from my service treatment records. So then I went into my VA medical records. Those were also in my claims file, but you can get them from My Healthy Vet. So I went in and I found my visits to a podiatrist, and I printed off 6 pages from there. And I had a diagnosis for pes planus, metatarsalgia, and plantar fasciitis. So I printed off those diagnoses. There was some notes on there where I was prescribed insoles, had my feet taped, and when I had a shot in my foot. So that's all good, solid medical evidence. So 3 pages from service treatment records, 6 pages from my VA medical records, and then I also went to a private doctor and private podiatrist, and I went and got the records from that doctor, and I included that too. I had 2 pages from the private doctor. So 6 pages, 3 pages, 2 pages. What's that? 6, 9, 10, or 11 or something like that. And then I submitted a personal statement, 21-4138. And I, described my foot conditions in my own words and what I thought was going on when it started in service, what's happened, that kind of stuff. So I had like a total of 10 or 11 pages, and I put them in chronological order. I numbered them all, and I wrote my social security number at the top. And then I included a cover letter. So it was like 10 or 11 pages. Here it is. Here's the full packet. So once I actually had that, then I scanned it in and uploaded it. And I kept myself a copy. So I had the whole thing. And it's like, oh, we don't have page 3. This is something that I think is a good idea to do because, if it's cover letter, page 1 of 12. And okay, here's page 2, here's page 3. They lost 4 and 5. Even a rater's going to see that, like, wow, this guy put his stuff together, and we're missing a couple pages. Hey, come back, Craig. Do you have these pages? Absolutely. Here you go. And then you send them a green letter, whatever, certified mail. Upload it again, and stay on and make sure they have it. So you're organized in case there's any questions, and then this makes it a lot easier for them. So this is a fully developed claim. The VA wanted to verify the records, but I gave them a nice roadmap. I'm not telling them the law. I'm not a smart guy, trying to tell them how to do their job. I just made it a little easier. They went in, and I don't know what they did. I'm sure they went and looked up exactly what I told them to look up. But cool, yep, this checks out. This is legit. And then they sent me to a C&P exam. That's going to happen most of the time. Went to the C&P exam, and I waited for my decision letter. So my fully developed claim for my foot took less than 5 months from when I submitted my intent to file to when I got my decision letter. This was 2 years ago. Things were moving a little faster, but this is this is how to make the VA disability process go faster. Be organized, know what you're doing, understand what's going on, talk to doctors, get on Google, get on YouTube, understand your diagnostic codes, understand what kind of medical evidence you have. Okay, I got a diagnosis. That's strong. If you don't have a diagnosis, that's weak. So you need to understand what a diagnosis is, documenting the severity of your symptoms, and the nexus linking your current symptoms to your active duty service. You need to learn that stuff. Okay, well, I have a strong diagnosis. I have a nexus. It's kind of wishy washy, but a nexus nonetheless. Severity of symptoms are solid. At least you can look through this and go, I feel pretty good about this claim. I can submit it. If you look at it and you're like, this thing's really weak and it's weak all over the place, you're going to need to plug those holes up. You don't want to do this in the appeals process. Plug the holes up now. Go to urgent care, go to a private doctor, go to a VA doctor, get the medical evidence in there, which basically means medical records on paper and a medical record, and send that over. Again, VA disability claims process starts off with going up to my boot camp. I made it for you guys. I break down the VA claims process in a series of videos, and this will give you what to expect. And I go into a lot more detail than I do in my videos here.